Kingdom Plantae. Plant phyla. The plant kingdom is broken down into 12 phyla, based on the presence or absence of a vascular system, the presence or absence of seeds, and the presence or absence of flowers. 3 non-vascular phyla include liverworts, mosses, and hornworts. 4 vascular non-seeded phyla include whisk ferns, club mosses, horsetails, and ferns. 4 vascular seeded phyla include conifers, cycads, ginkgo biloba, and Neophyta, and 1 vascular seeded flowering phyla, which is all flowering plants. Memorizing characteristics about specific phyla organization for Kingdom Plantae is not required for the AP Bio exam, but familiarity with them is helpful in understanding evolution, phylogeny, and cladistics. Non-vascular plants. Mosses and their relatives make up 3 phyla of seedless, non-vascular plants. These plants rely on water for reproduction and must grow low to the ground to absorb water and nutrients. Shown below is the broom moss on the left and liverworts on the right. Vascular plants. Vascular plants, as well as non-vascular plants, live on land and evolved from a common ancestor, the aquatic plants. The vascular plants contain specialized tissues, the xylem and the phloem, for moving water and nutrients, respectively, throughout the plant, much like the human circulatory system. Vascular tissues. The xylem is mainly responsible for transporting water up from the roots and to the leaves. The phloem transports sugars, or sap, from the leaves to the parts of the plant that do not undergo photosynthesis, such as the branches and the roots. Vascular non-seeded plants. Club mosses and ferns are examples of 2 phyla of seedless vascular plants. Vascular tissue allows them to grow higher above the ground. Pictured below are the bristly club moss and bracken fern. Seeded plants. In some vascular plants, fertilization results in the development of a seed. Seeds protect the plant embryo until conditions are right for development. Seeded, non-flowering plants are called Gymnosperms. Flowering plants are called Angiosperms. Gymnosperms versus Angiosperms. Conifers are Gymnosperms. They do not produce flowers. Deciduous trees are Angiosperms. They rely on flowers for reproduction. Angiosperms. Angiosperms have dominated the land for over 100 million years, and there are about 250,000 known species. Most of our foods come from a few hundred domesticated species of flowering plants. Roughly 70% of angiosperms are polyploid. That means they have multiple sets of chromosomes. The angiosperms are broken down into 2 classes, the monocots and the dicots. So it's the 2 classes right here. Those are the classes of angiosperms. Monocots and dicots. The term monocot and dicot refer to the first leaves that appear on the embryo of the plant, the cotyledon. So we have a picture of a monocot here. As you can see, it just has 1 leaf, because mono means 1, and cot refers to cotyledon. Dicot, on the other hand, has 2 leaves. Di means 2, and again cot refers to cotyledon. Examples of monocots. Monocots include orchids, lilies, bamboo, palms, and grasses. Examples of dicots. Dicots include fruit trees, magnolia trees, grapevines, and pumpkins. In the diagrams below, we have cross-sections of monocot seeds and dicot seeds. In the monocot seed, we see that there is 1 cotyledon, 1 leaf appearing on the embryo. In the dicot seed, we see that there are 2 leaves, 2 cotyledons, appearing on the embryo. Both seeds have a seed coat for protection and endosperm, which acts as a nutrition source for the developing embryo. Leaf veins. Here is one way you could identify a monocot or a dicot when the plant is full grown. The leaves of monocots have parallel leaf veins, so the veins are running parallel, and dicots have branched leaf veins, so these veins are branched. Stem vascular bundles. The vascular tissue, which transports water and nutrients up the stem of the plant, has different arrangements in monocots and dicots. Monocots have bundles and complex arrangements. So as we can see, the arrangement here of these little bundles of xylem are all arranged sporadically in this cross-section of the stem, versus the dicots have their vascular bundles in a ring. So as we can see here in this cross-section of the stem, they're all arranged in a ring along the outside here. Cladogram of Plantae evolution. This cladogram helps us see the evolution of plants' acquired characteristics over time, including vascular tissue, seeds, and flowers. Plants lacking these acquired traits still thrive today, and examples of them are shown. Flower petal arrangements. The floral petals on each plant differ in total number. Monocots have petals in multiples of 3, while dicots have petals in multiples of 4 or 5. Roots. Monocots have a fibrous root system, while dicots typically have one taproot. A good example of a dicot in this case would be a carrot. It has a large central taproot that's used to absorb nutrients and store food. Continuing classification. Plants are further classified into families, orders, genus, and species based on additional adaptations and derived characteristics such as modified leaves, modified stems, and modified roots. In the case of a beetroot, that's an example of another taproot. Modified stems, these horizontal stems are called stolons. In the case of strawberry plants, these stolons actually produce more cloned individuals. And a modified leaf, like in a cactus, this leaf is a spiny leaf that helps provide protection for the cactus.